Together we light up the night.
Hey, you guys, I am late on the bandwagon, but we are going to start covering Lori Vallow, the monster mom with the princess voice, who is going pro se. What in the Walmart rapture could go wrong with that? Well, just about everything. If you are late to the game of Lori Vallow, I'm going to give you guys some background information because it involves closet portals, loin fire, doomsday, and delirium. To be honest, there is so much crazy packed into these cases. This particular case is in Arizona, and Lori Vallow Daybell, or Ding Bomb, is charged with the unaliving or assisted unaliving of her fourth husband. That is right, fourth husband, Charles Vallow. And this is kind of a sad and depressing case because Charles Vallow was among the few people that was trying to get Lori Vallow Daybell help when she started going off, well, the pier of sanity and thought she was a translated being and a god from a different planet. Yes, this all happened. Now, if anyone in chat knows where I can find the loinfire papers, I will do a dramatic read of Daybell's loinfire Mormon smut. I might need an adult beverage to get through it, but I will do it because that sounds cringe-larious. And on the cringe level, it is about 100, so I will be reading that fairly soon. But let's get into who is Lori Vallow Daybell and why the hell is she so crazy? Not a doctorologist, but I'm guessing it's the baby ponytail. You guys, I do have the wig. We will be blonde. I am getting the baby ponytail. Maybe it will give me translated celestial being powers. The Vallow Daybell Doomsday murders are a chilling series of murders that include child murder, filicide, and spousal murder committed by an American couple, Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell, who led a Mormon religious kind of offset. He definitely used LDS doctrine and scriptures to morph it into his own personal cult. So while it may have had a basis in LDS, it definitely was nothing like the mainstream LDS or Mormon church. And note, I am not LDS or Mormon. I'm showing my shoulders, so therefore you can completely take me out of being affiliated with either religion. Now, it was described as a doomsday cult. The case was set in motion when Lori's daughter, Tylee Ryan, aged 16, and her younger adopted son, Joshua Jackson or JJ Vallow, aged 6, disappeared respectively on September 9th and September 23rd of 2019. Their remains were found in Rexburg, Idaho on June 9th, 2020. They had been buried in a property or on a property belonging to Chad, who was Lori's lover at the time of their deaths and had become her husband by the time that the bodies were found. The case also involved the killing of Lori's previous husband, Charles Vallow, and Chad's wife, Tammy Daybell, as well as the attempted murder of Lori's nephew-in-law, Brandon Boudreaux. Now Lori's brother, Alex Cox, who was believed by authorities to participate in the crimes, passed away just before he could be brought to justice. At the time of the murders, Chad and Lori belonged to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or the LDS Church. However, their beliefs had significantly deviated uh, between, I mean, they basically believed anything was possible, magical, transcendental portals and closets. Lori and Daybell would talk to each other in a closet. Um, they believed Harry Potter magic. I mean, going through and digging through this, these people, like, how could you not tell this was a cult? Like, yeah, we can do Harry Potter magic and the end of the world is coming and we all have to live in Idaho. I mean, call me crazy, but if they passed out Kool-Aid at that meeting, I'm not drinking it. Now, Chad was an apocalyptic author and publisher who claimed to have visions through the veil. So he believed that he had a near death experience near childhood, and that opened the veil between the land of the living and the land of the dead. And he was able to manifest these wonderful, wonderful powers that, well, no one really knew about until they told him, or he told them this. Now, he prophesied that the world would end in July 2020. Lori had come to share her lover's fringe beliefs, and she became convinced that she was a deity destined to play a role in the coming apocalypse and that her family was getting in the way of her mission. Tylee was last seen alive on September 8th and JJ on September 22nd. In late November, after police questioned Lori about JJ's whereabouts, she and Chad abruptly vacated their homes in Idaho and left for Hawaii. As police searched for JJ, they discovered that Tylee was also missing. The children's case soon attracted media attention as Lori and Chad refused to cooperate with law enforcement. Now, around this time, they were telling people that as JJ was adopted, he was Charles Vallow's nephew's son, born to parents that were addicted to substances, couldn't raise him, and they adopted him. She claimed that the woman who put in the welfare check, her name is Woodcock. I'm spacing on her name right now. But basically, that the biological grandmother was going to try to take the child so he was in a safe, protected place. Tylee was this. It is the harm and evil, vindictive spirit of it is shades of Letitia, but children are the most precious thing. And to withhold knowledge of where a child is from someone who loves them has to be one of the most wicked crimes I can think of. I mean, obviously, murder's bad, but that's also bad. Now, investigations revealed that the children's disappearances had preceded and followed suspicious deaths of Lori and Chad's respective spouses, and an attempted murder against Brandon Boudreaux, the then husband of Lori's niece. Also, Lori and Chad married 2 weeks after the death of Chad's first wife, Tammy. After the children's disappearances became known, Tammy's body was exhumed by law enforcement officers, revealing that she had died of asphyxiation, not like the coof or a heart attack. You know, Chad Daybell was trying to say that she was incredibly sick, she had a weak heart, but it turned out it looks like strangulation. Now, on February 20th, 2020, Lori was arrested for desertion and non-support of her children. On June 9th, police discovered the remains of Tylee and JJ during a search of Chad's home in Idaho. Chad was arrested on charges of destruction or concealment of evidence. On May 25th, 2021, Lori and Chad were charged with first-degree murders of Tylee, JJ, and Tammy. Prosecutors said that the couple had conspired with Alex Cox, Lori's brother, to commit the murders, not only as part of their apocalyptic beliefs, but also to remove obstacles to their affair, and collected life insurance money and the children's Social Security benefits when they were dead, all using kind of their religion and the fact that they had turned dark. It's going to get weird, y'all. Just buckle in. I mean, we're not going to get all of this in this stream, but the Lori Vallow Daybell shenanigans are multitudinous. And to use Sarah Boone's future words, futuristically, I will be looking into that. Lori and Chad were tried separately. On May 12th, 2023, Lori was found guilty of all charges relating to the killings of Tylee, JJ, and Tammy. On June 31st, she was sentenced to life imprisonment with no possibility of parole. On May 30th, 2024, Chad was also found guilty on all charges. On June 1st, he was sentenced to death. After her sentencing in Idaho, Lori was extradited to Arizona, where she will have to stand trial twice. First for the killing of Charles Vallow, then for the shooting of Brandon Boudreaux. Her first trial is scheduled to begin on March 31st. So this is crazy. Basically, Chad Daybell was a traditional LDS sort of member. He had a self-published kind of book empire. Now, kind of doing research for this, I guess it is fairly common, or at least it's not unheard of, that LDS members will go to kind of survival, sort of apocalyptic kind of prepper meetings, and I guess that's where Lori met Chad. And upon their first meeting, Chad decided to tell Lori that they had been married in a past life and she was his spiritual wife. They were together for a long time. And I guess Lori bought it hook, line, and sinker. Now, I do have the Lifetime movie of the Chad Daybell, Lori Vallow. It is level 27 on the cringeometer from 1 to 10. It is terrible. And I will start doing movie nights. It is on my list. But holy God, that movie was terrible. But let's get into what we were here for. I just wanted to give you some background. So, Lori Vallow has already been convicted. No matter what happens in Arizona, she still has multiple life sentences in, Idaho. So this is not her fighting for, to get out of jail. Lori has decided to go pro se. It is interesting that she has been found competent because for 6 months before her trial in Idaho, she was considered non-competent or not able to go to trial. So let's see how the monster with a princess voice is going to act in her hearing. Now I can already tell this judge is not going to take no nonsense, I hope. But let's see how she does being her own lawyer. Okay, I pushed play. Are we?
I did receive it yesterday.
Works. Did you receive the state's response yet?
I did receive it yesterday, but I was
Okay.
hoping that I could put my response on the record today, my reply.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, Lori freaking Daybell, how old are you? You are freaking ridiculous. You are 51 damn years old. Take that cheerleading ponytail out your hair, ma'am. What the hell is this? Yeah, she's non-compos mentis. And JKD Buck, I believe you're right. I believe that prepping and being prepared and having supplies was kind of baked in because I don't want to comment too much on religion because I'm sure I'm going to have some people in LDS going like, "You don't understand. I don't know." I don't claim to know. I'm showing my shoulders. I know nothing about LDS other than what I've researched. So let's get back to this. Apparently she's going to respond. Now, she decided to magic marker a ring on her finger. That's cute. What an absolute dumpster fire of a human.
Oh, get my glasses. Do you want me to stand, Your Honor, or can I just sit here?
You can sit there.
Okay, and I am a super petty person, but the fact that she has to T-Rex it makes me just happy. Makes me just absolutely tickled pink. I know it's petty. I know it is lit below me, but something about her having to have the shackles and do the little T-Rex arms just fills me with a joy I can't tell you. Pretty sure the therapist is going to be mad at me about that. Psychologist would have a field day, but honest to God, it makes me happy that she can't have full use of her arms and she has to do the little T-Rex thing. Just makes me the happiest I've been in a while. I'm just kidding.
So the state has claimed in their response that these documents are not material in the case, and this defense is entitled to this specific evidence for the proposition that this evidence can be used to impeach.
Did this heifer come in here with fucking Karen voice? Did this heifer come in here with, "I will talk to the manager"? Holy dear, she got the damn chicken neck. Alice G, this particular trial is for the murder of Charles Vallow. So if you remember the Lori Daybell Vallow case, it's all crazy. But Charles Vallow was going to pick up his son JJ. And from that, we have divergent stories. We have from Alex Cox, Lori Vallow's brother, that Charles went in there and tried to hit him with a baseball bat. So he got his force multiplier out and pew-pewed him several times. Now, there are many flaws with that story, considering that Charles Vallow used to be a minor league baseball player. And had he truly wanted to attack, Alex Cox, he wouldn't have had just a very minor surface level scratch on his head. But cops really did not investigate that as much. They kind of took on face value that this was self-defense. They did keep in touch with, you know, Alex Cox and Lori Vallow, but for the most part, they took it kind of on honor that it was just a domestic thing. It was a sad thing, but it was self-defense. It wasn't until, the kids' bodies were found, Tammy was exhumed, that I think Arizona really started to kick into gear that this might not have been a self-defense case, along with the attempted unaliving of Brandon Boudreaux, Lori Vallow's niece's current husband at the time. So he was coming home from the gym. He had separated from his wife that at that time, Melanie, and when he was on his way home and getting out of the car, someone shot at him from a Jeep that was Tylee's, they think. So they do have evidence that this was a bigger unaliving scheme than what they thought.
The thoroughness and good faith of the police investigation and the intent of the prosecution. That's Kyles versus Whitley, 514 U.S. The acid test of this prosecution is not a matter of determining if the defendant is guilty of the crimes that the defendant is charged.
I feel like I'm having an out-of-body experience. She's actually lawyering fairly well. She cited case law. I need to check my temperature. I don't know if this is real. I want to be a snarky bitch, but she's actually making points. This is a strange feeling. I still hate her, though, so, fine, you showed a modicum of intelligence, and you don't think you're a translated being anymore, but you're wearing Pebble's haircut or hairdo, and you magic markered a ring on your finger. Congratulations, you're a great person.
But rather, was any crime even committed? And where is this evidence? This defense has yet to find any evidence of a conspiracy in the 100,939 pages that have been turned over by the state. The state does not get to say, like they did in their last motion to us, in their last answer, to say, oh, we gave you over 100,000 pages, so that ought to keep you busy. That's not how it works. These are serious charges, and these
Again, she is like that heifer in line. I need to see the manager. I know my coupon's expired, but I am a valued customer here. Again, the mega thunder Karen sort of energy is pissing me off. Sitting there again with this righteous indignation. Fuck. Just, you sit here with this righteous anger like you are being put upon when you are a monster. I really don't care. This is the part where I really struggle with my principle of due process and let's get the let's get the pillory out. Let's pillory this woman. Like, stocks in the town square is fine. I have a real hard time with people like this who hurt children, not wanting to go to my sort of instincts of, you know what? We have a posse of moms. We'll take care of it. You'll never see her again. Allegedly in Minecraft, she moved to Florida.
are serious consequences for these charges. In determining the actuality of a crime, the state is required to meet, in reality, not in theory, a standard of culpability that is defined by law as a crime. The state is required to meet the challenge of defense reasonably without bias, conflict, prejudice, or speculation. So the defense, we keep filing motions for discovery since we don't know if it's some kind of strategy of the state that they're holding back this actual evidence of conspiracy in hopes that the defendant won't have time to prepare a proper defense against the evidence that comes forward at the last minute.
Nix that princess voice. We are on to harpy voice. We have shifted modes. Translated being is now in harpy voice. Again, it's a very abrasive and indignation. Indignation was the word that I could not say. Yeah, she is such a disgusting person. It really is quite gross to betray that biological imperative, that biological, I must protect my children, the children of my heart. I don't care. I have a bonus daughter. She's a child of my heart. If she needed anything, I would try to be there, but I understand the boundaries. I'm her bonus mom. I may not be the mom that she turns to immediately when she needs something, but if she does reach out, I hope she knows I'm there. It's to betray the honor and blessing you get for being a mom. I will never understand that. To look in your child's eyes, and this monster, this cow, looked in her children's eyes. She watched Alex Cox, according to witnesses, take her baby boy out, knowing exactly what was going to happen to him. How do you do that? How do you watch your baby boy, the baby of your heart, the child that you have taken care of, loved, invested in, watch someone take him out and know what's going to happen? And you don't fight like hell. You don't rip your nails out. You don't, break your bones to get that baby boy back. That, ma'am, you should not even be able to raise your voice. How dare you be indignant and assholish when you know and you did that? And I hope it haunts you forever, because just a bystander, it haunts me. But I'm assuming you have a soul and a heart, and I don't think you do. So let's get back to Orange Lady mad.
This court has denied every motion the defense has filed to acquire this evidence. The state has claimed in their
Were they art-tarded? Because I'm guessing they were stupid, because you're not really a lawyer and you can talk like one, and I can use lawyer words, but I'm not going to write a motion like a real lawyer. So I can play lawyer all the time, but you're playing with your life. Have fun with that.
their response to the defense's motion that the defense's request is overbroad and wide sweeping. Is this the defense left to pinpoint where this evidence is and try to find it? No, that is not the law.
Yes, you have to go through the defense. It's the same thing with the Delphi case. They were given terabytes upon terabytes of evidence. They were able to collate, sort, and go through all that evidence, and then, find the discovery they needed. Yes, you are supposed to go through every single piece of evidence. It is your job as a lawyer to come up with a theory of defense from this broad, sweeping, pattern of evidence. You pick out a fact pattern, you go with a story. I don't know what yours is going to be. I'm going to guess you can say that Maroney talked to you on the hillside and you got a revelation. I don't know what the hell you're going to defensorate yourself with. But if someone caught you with a, super soaker full of holy water and you melted, I would buy a cupcake. Robert T., that's just it, Mo. He was never a child of her heart. He was a mean to an ends to her, to prove how godlike and better than she was for doing for others. It breaks my heart. It does. And I go after these people. I know I'm super petty. But if that's the only way we can have a little bit of, cathartic justice as people who watch these trials, then the Angel Maroney, is he a capo? No. So I have been kind of digging into LDS stuff, more FDL stuff. For some reason, I have gotten into the Jeff Warren's rabbit hole, which is gross, disgusting, and I need Purell for all of it. I even look at my hair. I'm like, oh my God, I did an FDLS hairdo. I've got the little poof in the front. Not going to wear a prairie dress, though. We'll be getting into FDLS at some point, someday. Feel free. I am here for that. I love it. I am humble, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, Warren Jeffs. Again, if God picked his savior on earth, he's going to pick a guy that looks like he's in an 80s Devo band? No, he's not. He's going to pick, again, I think we can all agree, Henry Cavill. I enjoy hearing the survivor stories and their road to recovery. I don't know, again, I get sucked into weird rabbit holes. Last week, it was the entire chronology and full lore of Dune. So who knows what it'll be this week. Let's get back to Angry Harpy.
Law. The state is required by law to give the defense evidence of the crime they are being charged with. This is
It's called your charging sheet. They're getting you for murder. Congratulations. They will also usually put a bill of particulars, which is what Sarah Boone was very upset about. They didn't put, like, you are charged with murder because you put George in a suitcase and didn't get him out. Oh, Maroon Eye? Thank you, Boosh. I doubt I'll be invited to any temples. I mean, I have watched South Park's Mormon episode so many times. I think I'm on a list for the LDS. I'm pretty sure they track and monitor how many times you watch that. You know, oh, right, bro. Look, I'm not going into a temple. I'm not learning it. I would be the worst sort of Mormon. Oh my God. I am not smiley enough. I am not kind enough. And I like to curse way too much. And daggone it, caffeine is. Look, caffeine and nicotine is the only way I'm making it through my life right now. So I'd be a terrible Mormon. I'd already be an apostate before I even got there. They'd be like, out, out. Captain Kern, I did not know that. I will have to look into that. I like buying in bulk and having things stored. I am not a prepper, but I do like having supplies for people. I've got 8 people to feed, so, you know, if there's an ice storm or a snowstorm, you know what I will say? So every LDS member I have ever met has been so kind and sweet. And if it's their jam, you know, then God bless them, just let them do their jam. I'm not, you know, and they gave us Jeff and Danny on. I don't know that I know anyone else. Look, I don't pay attention to people's religions. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have a chart or anything. But those are the 2 I know. Ooh, little dog. I will have to look at that. I've never really had a cigar. Um, I am ashamed that I took up vaping. I really am. I deeply sometimes want to quit, but right now it is one of those things that's on my to-do list. Not gonna lie. All right, let's get back to it is very interesting. So she has a very abrasive, aggressive voice. And I have seen other recordings of her where she does put on this very princess voice, this very quiet, sweet, ice wouldn't melt, butter wouldn't melt. But this is her realness. I have a feeling that behind closed doors, Lori Vallow sounded like this a lot. Not the sweet princess voice, but this argumentative, abrasive, aggressive. Thank you so much, Captain Kern. I appreciate it.
is the purpose of the Brady Law and the right to due process. This is why in 2020, the United States enacted the Due Process Protection Act that provides defendants like me with greater protection.
Her attorney friend is looking at her LinkedIn account like, please, someone fucking hire me someone else. Please, someone give me a job anywhere. I'll defend Diddy. I don't want to be with this chick.
Action, Brady versus Maryland. The state has continued to impede the defense from conducting a defense. This is a violation of the 14th Amendment of our great Constitution and the defense's due process rights.
Holy crap, bless my heart, and call it Thursday. She invoked the Constitution in her right. Every single MFer, all of these dinguses from Daryl Brooks, daggone it. I have got to think of a different derogatory D word because dingus keeps looking at me like, what did I do? Like not you. Fine, these dingleberries. From Daryl Brooks to Letitia Stalk to Sarah Boone, all want to wrap themselves in the bloody flag from, you know, Valley Forge and 7 years ago, patriotism, God, and country. What the hell? Sure. Okay. The great Constitution. Oh, Welcome, Kathy Mitchell or Michelle. Look, it's a Tuesday, you guys, and it is the Mondayest Tuesday in the world.
Today, the defense is requesting that this court do the following three things. One, order the state to turn over all evidence of a conspiracy since our trial begins in 76 days from today. I would also ask that they would.
Inappropriate Octopus has a quick aside, but F you, Lori. F you, Lori. And D. Robinson, Lori used insanity to see how much she could get away with. Idaho does not have insanity pleas. The case was put on hold until a person is deemed competent. Yeah, I do know Idaho has a very different way that they do mental health kind of issues and cases. 76 days. Ooh, are we going to get the Sarah Boone? I've had 76 days, 0 hours with my attorney. Please help, judge. I'm waiting for the letters.
Pare down their witness list to these witnesses that will actually be testifying so the defense can conduct productive interviews. And then I would like for all motions and responses to be sent directly to the defendant in a timely manner. I'm having a
the trifecta of cuntiness. We've talked about, case law sort of and cited it weird. We've talked about the Constitution, and now we want copies. It is the trifecta, the Constitution, the constant whining, and the copies. We have reached the Mega Thunder Cunt Trial Court Edition trifecta. It's a hat trick. Thank you so much. Shalom and welcome. She's a goddess, a translated being, a celestial spirit, if you will. She has seen beyond the veil.
really hard time getting this stuff. I don't get it from ILS to 7 days after things have been filed.
Has she tried her closet portal where she and Chad would talk and caress each other spiritually? Dang, all those celestial powers just leave when, you're in the jail. Maybe Shackles have some kind of kryptonite armor so she can't use her magic powers. Darn it. I always wondered what happened to Bellatrix Lestrange, and I guess we found out. It's the blonde Bellatrix Lestrange.
After your orders have been rendered, I'm not getting these. This defense intends on starting trial on time without delay, and I request that also that this defense requests that the court grant the motion to order the state to produce all discovery of extradition at this time so that we can get started on getting prepared for trial.
What does anything in the extradition have to do with the underlying charges? Can you tell me that?
Oh, dear Lord, God bless this judge. Can you imagine being a judge and having to explain basic law concepts to a moron who thinks they are a genius? God bless this judge, because I would not handle it. Because I'd be like, no. And y'all know my face is all caps, bold and underlined. So me in my judge robes, I'd be like, I would be fined so much. I'd be a judge for 1.5 minutes. And they'd be like, ma'am, quiet your face. I hold myself in contempt, but I'm okay with it, so I'm not going to charge me. It's kind of a natural thing.
Yeah, it's to find out why all this started when I can't find any evidence that there is. So
Have you read the grand jury transcripts?
I have.
Okay, the grand jury transcripts summarize what the state's evidence they intend to produce at trial.
I understand that.
So when you say you can't,
Have y'all ever had that kid in class? I don't know, but I got in so much trouble. Okay, there is always that kid in class where the teacher will have just explained something, like literally just said, okay, I want you all to mark the C on the Scantron for the first letter. And inevitably, there is that one kid that will raise their MFing hand as quick as possible to ask the exact question that the teacher just instructed us to do. Now, 7-year-old Mo may not have had the grace, beauty, and collective intelligence and elegance that the current Mo that you have the hot mess experience of. So I might have said, she just answered the question. If you would just pay attention, you would know. Now, 7-year-old Mo was born 46 and angry at the world. That has not changed. But I do remember getting in trouble for yelling at, well, not yelling, but being, what was it? Mean and discouraging of questions. I was like, because you just effing answered them, and I'm tired of having to deal with dumb people. Yes, I was born 46 and get off my lawn ready.
Can't find anything. That is the summary in the grand jury.
Boosh, thank you. Thank you. I feel seen. That was me, Mo, because when they gave a handout to read, I would start reading it and then she'd say something and I'd ask to repeat. Well, I'm sorry. Oh, I definitely need to get a hold of them. I will say, I will confess. So, hot mess confess thing. I do struggle with trying to reach out to people. You guys know me. I have to talk myself up to get a phone call or get on the phone. So I am attempting, that is a goal this year, to reach out to more creators and collaborate. But I will tell you, it is not the most comfortable thing for me. Well, yeah, and she's not listening. She is desperately saying, you don't have like a paper that says I conspiratize with you. She is trying to look for a smoking gun where they basically signed a contract and said, I conspirate. I will definitely reach out. I've got a list of people. It is happening. Everything is going. That's my goal this year. And it's a lofty goal, so I don't know if I'm going to reach it, but it is to get to 10K. And if it doesn't happen, I'm hanging out with you guys and having fun. And the last couple years of doing this has been awesome. So numbers are great, but I definitely want to collab more. People have fun. I loved talking to Dark Allele about Canada. I am learning so much because I don't understand. He does. Nate seems really, really sweet, and I will try to reach out to him, but I'm very mindful that he is an active, journalist covering a lot of stories, so he may not be able to talk back to me, or even have time to do anything. But I will definitely check out more of his coverage.
Transcripts.
Correct.
Okay. So I guess I don't understand how an extradition a year or so after the fact, after the indictments, would have anything to do with the underlying charges. So can you articulate that for me?
I can, Your Honor. There's
I have a question. This MFing monster got to get money pieces in the front of her hair? This bitch should not have beauty school like points at all. I don't care if, there's the best inmate beautician. I want her coming out looking like Hagatha. How the hell does this heifer, you are 51, you have a Pebbles hairdo, and you got money shots or money pieces in the front? I hope you had to use isopropyl alcohol and hydrogen peroxide. Just ew. And you know what probably pisses her off? She probably did all her Prisión makeup. She's got the dark coffee ground eyeliner. She's, rolled her eyelashes on a freaking pencil. She has probably pinched the ever living crap out of her cheeks. She is just probably, done everything to be, orange is the new black beautiful. And now they're not showing her face. I am sure she is pissed because Lori Vallow, and this is my personal opinion, I am an armchair psychologist. I have many years of Donahue and Sally Jesse Raphael as my experience. That is my Dalbert hearing. I am a genius in this. Lori Vallow was all about appearances. She was all about looking perfect. And when she found someone that told her she was a special, important being, a person she had felt she had been her entire life, she'd been a mom and she'd been a hairstylist, she'd been a beauty queen, but no one saw her intrinsic awesomeness until Chad. And Chad fed that and fed that. But she's always been this person. Whatever gloss, whatever hard candy coating she put on the outside, whatever glaze she had, this. This has always been the person she is. Abrasive, aggressive, a bulldozer if you're in her way. And I'm going to speak about Tylee, and this might not have been the case, but this is what I speculate. And I kind of pull from my personal experience. You guys know that I was not an athletic child. You guys know that I have always struggled with being semi-fluffy, and I came from a family of complete athletic people. My mom and dad were amazingly athletic, very good. Gave my mom a black eye when she tried to teach me how to do a cartwheel. We never tried to learn a cartwheel again. But there is a very special dynamic, a very odd dynamic when you are, and Tylee was a beautiful girl, but there is this odd dynamic that I think that you feel when your mom is outwardly very attractive, very beautiful, very put together, and you may struggle with, your weight or maybe have acne as a teenager. There's always this sort of, at least for me, internal sense of kind of disappointment that you feel when you're not as athletic or perfect or thin as your mother. It There is a dynamic, and I think that there was clearly a dynamic there between Tylee and Lori. Lori was very focused on outward appearances, and I do think that she made life a living hell for Tylee. I think she made Tylee feel not loved, not special because she didn't live up to her standards. Now, this is all speculation, but I know people like this. And she was like this with Tylee and JJ behind closed doors. This was the real Lori. The real Lori has always been a cunt. Take that to the bank. This is the true expression of her spirit, her soul, whether she has one or not. But all the outward appearances, you can get, orange is the new black beautiful. You can get, all the lawyer words. You're still going to be nothing but a child killer. And I hope that you're consigned to the dustbin of humanity. I hope no one reaches out. Don't feed her anything. Don't give her attention. Let's raise up Tylee and JJ's life. Let's talk about all their special things. After this trial, I don't want to hear about Lori Daybell or her weird husband who looks like freaking Peter Griffin from Family Guy.
The detectives that are
When I rant about that, who the F looks at, let's pull this up because I have freaking questions. Actually, we're going to pull up, okay. No, I don't want to use a microphone, you ridiculous thing. No, back. Stop. Dang you. So, wait 1 second. I am pulling it up because I have questions and I want answers. All right, ladies, chat. This is Charles Vallow. Looks like a handsome guy. Used to have a full head of hair. Now he's bald, doesn't have a divotty head, as you can tell. Charles Vallow. Charles Vallow, the husband she unalived. Okay. Handsome, attractive guy. Good businessman, looks like a family man, works out. She goes with this douche canoe. What in the name of no neck is this? How do you go from, good looking guy, runs a business, to douchey McDoucheface who writes Mormon porn? I can't. Oh, wait. Yay. I didn't even check. Happy day for me. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for your support. I do have a couple of things that I need to get done for my new set. Uh, and then I will do my 5,000 stream. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, if anyone can find the Loinfire book, I will read that on a stream. I need to find it. It's just enough cringe for me. It literally is the cringe that makes me laugh. Yeah, well, and I was kind of going to do it as a bit of a memorial for Law Rex since he was the first man to do the Loinfire. And thank you guys so much. All right, let's get back to Bossy McCarran face.
On these cases are all continuing to go back and forth with all of these different agencies. You have the FBI, you have all the different agencies that are working together. You have Rexburg, Fremont County, you have Chandler and Gilbert. You have all these people. Then I have them coming on, they're going to be on the stand and they're going to be in trial and they're going to be saying what they reviewed. They've reviewed all these things. And
yes, it's called being a lawyer. You have to collate disparate information. This is what lawyering is. That's why they do this job. Now, generally, on a case this big, a murder case, you might have a lawyer or two lawyers, but you've decided to eschew that and you're going to be your own lawyer. So, yes, you do have to go through every piece of 100,000 pages. You do have to actually do all of this work. That is what lawyering is. They have private investigators. They have people that go and look up and actually double check. They hire experts. There is a reason you do not represent yourself, you freaking moron. But I like you being a flaming moron. So, and I get to buy a blonde wig and do a ponytail. So, I mean, it all works out for Mo. You're still a garbage human, though.
there's communications between all of these agencies that I feel like that the defense is privy to. We should be able to have that and look at that and see where all this.
You cannot have work product. Now, if you were a lawyer, you would know that, but any work product, you would have to, I believe, do a subpoena, Ducus Nukem. No, look, it's not, I am not a lawyer, but I call him the Ducus Nukem subpoena, but I think it's Ducus, look, it's something Latin. But in order to get work product or things like that, you have to have a separate, different subpoena, allegedly in Minecraft, not a lawyer. Discuss any and all legal cases with a confirmed and certified lawyer, or go with Daryl Brooks, who is, I think, Esquire right now.
Came from, where all this started, why they waited 2 years to make these charges. There's all these things, and why they decided to extradite when I saw someone sent me a news article.
He's not a magic 8-ball. He's the judge. He hasn't delved into the investigation. He's not going to know these things. You're going to have to find them out by looking at all the discovery. That is your job. That's a you thing.
Article 3 days before I got brought to Arizona that MCAO was putting out a release that they were not going to pick me up and they were not going to extradite me to Arizona until after my appeals were finished. So it's contradictory to that. I just don't know where it came from. And there's a lot of things that are mystery questions to the defense that we are entitled to according to the law.
All right. Well,
what part of the Constitution covers mystery questions? Do we have to call the Harley Boys? Are we going to get a clue? Get a big clue? A raging clue? Oh, you are such a dum-dum.
well, everything you've just told me, none of that would be relevant in the trial. In the
If the judge had not said, this is why I wouldn't be a judge. I'd be like, everything you have just said is beyond moronic. May God have mercy on your soul because I don't. Denied. Well, she referred to herself as a translated being, so I don't know if a defense is an upgrade or a downgrade. I don't understand, how that sort of title moves. Maybe she's always a god. Who knows?
in the case in chief, does the state intend on producing any iota of evidence or presenting any scintilla of evidence of anything that happened after the dates of crime that have been charged in the indictments?
The state, although there is information that occurred after that will relate to the conspiracy that has been disclosed to the defense, anything that occurred after the indictment, during the extradition process is completely irrelevant and will not be brought in during the trial.
I didn't mean the date of crime listed in the indictment. I meant the date of the indictment. So
Correct.
the state doesn't plan on presenting any evidence to a jury of anything after the indictment.
Correct.
So how would that, anything to do with the extradition, be relevant to your trial then?
Thank
I
you
feel like
so
it's
very
relevant to the
I might do
the
that
whole,
tomorrow.
Your Honor, in the sense that the police investigation and the intent of the prosecution, it doesn't make sense. I would like to be able to have that.
All right.
It doesn't make sense because you're not a lawyer. Lawyers write in exceedingly pedantic language that is hard to kind of parse through unless you have been trained as a lawyer, because every single word has a specific meaning, even to the point of and or has a very specific meaning that maybe doesn't translate to everyday life. You are swimming in an ocean and you don't have floaties, Lori, and I'm enjoying it. I don't she is wanting to figure out who to blame that was the progenitor of this conspiracy theory, instead of looking in the mirror and thinking, oh gee, well, I did try to, get my husband unalived and succeeded, and he did the same to his wife. Who is the culprit? I swear to God, Lori is in the mirror every morning. We are gonna find who did this, just like OJ. If she writes, if I had done it, I would not be shocked. Once she doesn't get, let's see, JKD Buck, 75. Andor is the dude on Star Wars Rogue One that looks like 1970s Paul McCartney. Interesting. And thank you, Analytical One, for playing hooky for just a little bit, but make sure you are doing your job so you have a job. But thanks for playing around with us. I am on full snark patrol. I have no chill for this woman. I read her as filth. Those are the, disclaimers. I actively dislike this woman with the passion of 1,000 suns, down to her top ponytail.
Are you otherwise on track for your trial date?
Correct.
Are there interviews going on with your investigator or your
Absolutely, Gary
advisory
Benedict.
council team?
We're
The physical meme of a person jamming a stick into their own bicycle wheel and then looking around for the culprit. It's that Spider-Man meme where they're all pointing at each other.
working on getting those set up right now.
Okay. Is there anything else we need to address today? This was sort of just a status conference to make sure things are on track.
I have 2 motions that I'd like to file with the court today.
All right. Do you have copies for the state?
I don't today. I thought you could make a copy.
Can we see them? I'll ask the deputy county attorney.
Okay, so it's not Sharpie. It looks like she took some yarn and wrapped it around her finger. Why the frick is she defending herself? Because she's a freaking moron. But apparently she feels like there's no case. In her eyes, she has looked at all the discovery, and they are insanity. They are like, she's like, there's no conspiracy, nothing happened, therefore no case. And she's smarter than all the lawyers. I don't know. Owens is free. Maybe Owens will cover her. Can you imagine Owens and Lori Vallow? Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Dear Lord, it is my anniversary, and I don't ask for much. But please, dear Lord, get Owens out of retirement to, represent Lori Vallow. I understand that this prayer is more for my personal gain and enjoyment, but it would make millions of people happy too, God. Thanks. There, I sent a prayer up. Maybe we'll get it.
From your perspective, anything we need to discuss here today? Yeah.
No, Your Honor.
How long, I'm assuming the 2021 case would be the case that the state intends to try first.
Correct.
How long would that case take for the state's portion to present?
Probably a couple weeks, Your Honor. I mean, and I say that obviously I'm unaware of how long defense will take for cross-examination. So I would probably ask to pre-screen the
Yes.
jury for significant.
Today, I think you guys were with me on, or for Mornings with Mo, but yes, today is both my wedding anniversary and my middle son's birthday. So we never celebrate our anniversary. But we were really lucky that the doctor, because I was so done being pregnant, my doctor finally had mercy on me and let me be induced on today, almost 11 years ago, or 11 years ago. So I'm happy because that was a big old boy. That was 10-pound kid with a big old pumpkin head. So I love him, but he had a big old pumpkin head, and I hope I get a good Mother's Day gift when he gets older. Thank you. Let's see, almost 15 years. So Mr. Mo has dealt with me and generally allows me to buy my really ridiculous things on Amazon. So it's true love. He lets me get a B-Rex and he doesn't, get upset. He does questions things a lot. He's like, "Why do you need this?" And I'm like, "Because it's awesome." Kind of like the middle finger octopus. But I find the coolest things and I share them with you. So I am doing a public service by buying ridiculous crap. At least that's what I tell you myself. And I never bought glitter light up roller skates again. So I did learn my lesson.
Longer than that.
Meaning 3 weeks or 4 weeks?
Thank
Yes,
you
Your
guys
Honor.
so much.
I do not know what Ms. Daybell is going to question any of the witnesses.
As we're looking toward that trial date, is advisory council willing to assist the defendant on the jury screening process if we do the electronic questionnaire?
Yeah, to the
Okay.
extent that we're
All right, good.
going outside of our scope, but yes.
Sure. I have received a motion for specific discovery from the defendant, well, two separate ones. Just going forward, can you title them maybe what specifically you're looking for? Because if you name all your motions the same thing, it gets a little difficult to keep.
Well, you missed that Lori has dropped the princess kind butter wouldn't melt voice for a harpy being told there are no more Stanley Cups at Target. And we are watching, this is not live, but Lori Vallow Daybell is going pro se in her trial for the murder of Charles Vallow, but also for the attempted murder of Brandon Boudreaux, her niece's husband. Now, both of these cases will be separate, so I do believe that we are going to have the Charles Vallow murder case first. The prosecutor has just said that it will probably take 3 weeks. Lori Vallow, for reasons that only Lori Vallow knows, has decided to go pro se. So she is representing herself. She is full Sarah Booning it. She does seem to have a greater grasp than Sarah on sort of the legal lingo and using it correctly, citing case law. But she is still woefully unprepared for all of the work that she is going to have to do to take the mountain of discovery they have against her and formulate it into a case. And she is quite frustrated and kind of getting irritated with the judge and the prosecution that they are not winnowing down all of this discovery to tell her what what their strategy is, how they're planning to prove a conspiracy. Lori Vallow was not the person that pulled the trigger, but she is the person that set in motion, according to the state, the kind of the pieces that got Charles Vallow unalived. At least that is what the state is alleging. And Lori is having a really significant time kind of figuring out how the state gets a conspiracy charge out of all of the discovery. She doesn't understand that she has to go through all the discovery and figure out, her defense strategy herself. She is hoping that the state will simply come out and say, this is what we did, this is why we think this. It's not their job to do that. And I think she's getting very frustrated because she felt that she was going to get kind of all the things, the state was going to lay all their cards on the table, and she doesn't realize there is so much more to a trial than the legal words. There's the strategy, there's how you're going to, interact with witnesses, how you're going to, impeach them. These things. There's a reason you hire lawyers. Friendly advice: hire a lawyer. Do not lawyer yourself.
Keep track of them. But I have two
And
separate
thank you,
motions for
Cynthia, for
specific
tapping the like
discovery.
button.
Just like discovery.
For example, on this one, you could title it something like motion for discovery related to the Gilbert DR number or something like that, just to differentiate these. We'll make copies of these for the prosecutor, and then we'll have those filed with the clerk today. One of your requests was to have the state send you directly any pleadings, which according to their mailing certificate at the back of the pleadings, they are mailing them to you. I can't do anything about how long the jail takes to process that. So I do recognize that there's probably some delays on that, so we won't hold you to the normal reply times because of those
True.
delays that it takes getting through the jail administratively.
Yeah, analytical one, that's basically what she's doing. Lori will read the discovery and immediately say, I still don't get it. Can you do it for me, please? That's basically what she's been asking for this entire time. She's made references to the amount of discovery and that she just can't put the pieces together as to why the state's even charging her. Probably helps when you're not delusional and think you're a celestial being, but there you go. And he is being kind. See, this is why I couldn't be a judge, because I would just look at her and say, this is why we have a lawyer. I don't have time to waste, sweetie. Again, why I wouldn't be a lawyer or a.
All right.
He really is used to
Case, Your Honor,
having
could we
telling
have
people jump
perhaps
and they do.
that go to my investigator, then I could maybe get those faster. Can he also be included on that?
Your Honor, I do email them to advisory council as well as in the court, so.
All right.
But there's not much else I can do.
Prosecutor rolled up, reversed, went toot, 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 toot. She just rolled the bus right back on advisory council. She's like, look, I emailed them to your helper lawyer. I don't know how you're not getting them. And did you see the look? Okay, we're backinating just a bit. Did you see the look of the advisory lawyer like, oh shit?
Council as well as in the court, so.
All right.
But there's not much else I can do.
Who's your investigator?
Jeff White.
And you're
Ew, I don't need to see Lori Vallow foot porn. Ew. Just ew. Also, how big are those slides? Good Lord. And those socks and slides, I don't get it. But I do enjoy seeing the shackles on her ankles. I am a petty person. I am not working on it. It is my, homeostasis. It's where my body just wants to be, in the petty lane.
advisory counselor in contact with him? Yeah,
They can be.
okay.
And okay, this looks like torture for me. And because I can barely tolerate socks on my feet. So I know it's not for everyone, but the fact that she's wearing both socks, has something chained to her ankle, and wearing slides that would put pressure on your foot. Now, that looks like torture to me. It's just a personal thing, but that looks like all the torture to me.
So the record will reflect that the state's getting a copy of those two motions today, and then the state will respond accordingly. I'll just set a,
Point of order. We are baccanating this. I have a point of order. This heifer should get BCGs. BCGs. If you have been in basic training or any sort of military brat, you know that BCGs are birth control glasses. They are the ugliest thing. You get them delivered to you. They are ugly, black, and, well, they're just plain ugly. They are called birth control glasses for a reason. Now, when you get halfway through basic, you start thinking people look cute even with the birth control glasses. It is a lie. Do not listen. Any hoozle, I have a point of contention. This bitch should have BCGs. She should not be able to have little readers. They should be the big, black, thick, ugly prisoner glasses. I demand it.
set a, I'll have you reply within 10 days of the date of the filing of their response. All right. Depending on and then I'll rule on the motions as they come, or I'll set a hearing if need be. But at this time, I'm going to affirm the final trial management conference of March 18 at 8:30 a.m. in this division. Trial date's currently March 31. Again, the first case that would be heading to trial would be the 2021 case. Anything else for today?
Yes. Will trial be staying before your honor? And if so, will we be staying in this courtroom?
Gary Benway, they changed them from black BCG to even worse oval light brown ones. They did this when the BCGs were popular. Awesome. The judge, he looks like Troy Gowdy or Trey Gowdy. He used to be a senator, but he also looks like he's working in Clerks and it wasn't his day to be here. Like I wasn't supposed to be working today. It's my day off. That's the vibe I get from him. He's totally on the like, I wasn't supposed to be at work today kind of vibe.
I don't know yet. I'm going to confer with the associate presiding judge, and I suspect it will stay here and it will stay in this courtroom, although for jury selection, we may move to a bigger courtroom if we're doing in-person voir dire.
And Judge, I do know there will likely be the next of kin present. This courtroom obviously does not have a victim room or a witness room. With the media, that obviously makes it more difficult for the state to keep those individuals away from each other, from overhearing each other in this type of case. So obviously, we're happy to stay before this court, but would be requesting that this be reset or moved to the Southport Tower so we would have this accommodation.
I'll talk to the criminal presiding judge and the associate presiding judge regarding that. And it's just a matter of availability of bigger courtrooms. Anything else from the defendant?
I honestly have no doubt that logistically, whoever runs or manages the courtrooms as far as crowd size and things like this is going to be a major trial. I mean, we pretty much, I think, can state that the state is going to have a strong case. I think this is going to be a mega trial with all the coverage, Lori Daybell, the shenanigan, crazy Walmart rapture of this case. They are going to need to pick a very big room. They are going to need to have good media access. And I hope that they are putting in place good audio, because I'd really like to watch this trial, not listening to it on a 1984 speak and spell. So if you could do that, if you could have the audio not be from a cheese sandwich, that would be great.
I just was going to ask, can we set both trial dates, or how are we going to do that?
You'll have two separate jury trials with two separate juries.
Correct.
So the first trial that will be on or around March 31st. We anticipate when that trial's done, we'll talk about how quickly we're going to do the second trial. Does that answer your question?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay.
No, because trials are flexible, you giant freaking moron with the head of a galaxy, but no actual wrinkles in that brain. Trials are fluid. They might not know. They might get to a couple witnesses, look at the jury for the state and say, we got this bitch. And then it's not going to be 3 weeks. It's going to be, a couple minutes. They cannot plan these things. They are fluid. Had you been a lawyer, you would know that. Now you know.
It's hard to set the second one without knowing how long the first one's going to take and then the readiness of everyone as far as the second one after the first one concludes. All right, we will be at recess on that matter. I'll take any motions on it.
Lori is functionally incapable of having a perspective that is not Lori-centric. And what do I mean by that? Lori cannot fathom a universe in which she doesn't know everything because everything revolves around her. She is confused as hell as to why we'd have to take into account anyone else's feelings, the length of a trial, anything. When Lori wants to know something, Lori should know something. Captain Kern, I don't doubt anything anymore. I'm sure they read, Daybell's Loinfire and GTFO'd before we got, the advanced knowledge and everything, which sucks.
Advisement.
Interesting. Okay, so you can kind of hear in the background, but she has it completely reverted to that baby girl voice, that little tiny, sweet voice. It is incredibly disconcerting. Her princess voice with the monster soul. It is the juxtaposition that really, I think, draws me to this case, which is, again, I probably need to talk to a psychologist, not gonna lie. But it is so strange to me how this woman who went from being, a normal, loving to, from what people have said, a normalish woman, taking care of her family, and then she got sucked into this Harry Potter mystic portal, spirit wives from the past, to the point where she sacrificed her own children. I think the wrongness, the unnaturalness of that severing of a mother-child bond is so beyond incredible. And I mean incredible as in, if you try to put yourself in that spot, you can't, because there's no part of you that would ever let a child walk out of your house knowing he's going to imminent death. There's no part of you that could stomach it. I mean, even thinking about it now, I kind of want to run out of my chair and just yank him up and take him in my arms. The betrayal of that is so, so unnatural that we almost want to stop and look like a train wreck. I had the same sort of feeling with the Shanda Vander Ark case. It horrified me and repulsed me, but I couldn't stop watching because I just tried to think, what happened to this mom? And I just have to tell myself there's no answer. And unfortunately, evil doesn't need an answer. And yes, you guys, I do have little knife, little murder earrings. Let me see if I can see little knives, murder earrings. I figured they were great for Lori Vallow. I may have gone on a little bit of a ridiculous earring buy. Look, I have a problem. It's Amazon, and they always have ridiculous stuff at 3 a.m. So for your anti-Mo, advice today, You may put things in the cart at 3 a.m. or while drunk, tipsy, or not quite connected to reality, enhanced, if you will, but do not push by until you wake up and are sober. It is a rule I've had to learn since buying glitter light up roller skates. Oh, dear Lord. Well, thank you guys for joining me. Shalom D sent me the loin fire thing, so I will probably set up a stream for tomorrow and we will go into loin fire. It'll be a belated anniversary gift. Maybe I'll get some ideas. I'll be like, Mr. Mo, do you want to try a bit of my loin fire? And he'll say, ew. I mean, let's be honest, Mr. Mo probably wouldn't say no, but he would probably be confused. He'd probably be confused about the attempt. I mean, look, we're married. He's not going to say no, okay? But he's going to be like, loin fire? I mean, could we call it like Mary time or something? Is that the euphemism we're going with? Because if you have loin fire, it's called penicillin and go to the doctor. You're welcome. On that note, have a lovely day. And let me see who I can send you guys to. I am trying to get better at redirecting because I suck out loud at it. I am going to be a professional this year, or a semi-professional. Slightly less of a hot mess, might be more honest. I am going to send you guys to Broken Baker. He is still on the Jason Chen trial, day 2 in the morning. And Baloney, Bobby, sweetheart, come here to Auntie Mo. I am always going to be on the hot mess spectrum. I may be high functioning hot mess, but I'm still on the hot mess spectrum. I will never be off of it. That's my favorite part about me is I will future plan like I'm not going to be a hot mess. I don't know if any of you guys had done this, but I will like specifically put something away in a place where I think future on top of it, Mo is going to remember. And the amount of times I am going like a Tasmanian devil through my room trying to find things, I'm like, where the fuck did hot mess me think that future perfect me was going to put things? Because future me is still a hot mess. Have a lovely day. Go over to Baker, give him some likes, give him some, subs if you like him. He's a great guy, fun thing, and you will watch trials with him, have fun, learn things, and get different perspectives. Please like and subscribe if you're new here. I am trying to do all the YouTube-y things, but they are not natural. Bye, you guys. Oh, where is the button? There it is.